And welcome to You Right, the podcast where creativity meets community.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Matt.
Each week on You Right, we challenge our listeners to write a story in just 30 minutes, using 3 of 5 randomly generated words.
It's a fun and fast-paced exercise to spark your imagination and get those creative juices flowing.
We'll read your submissions, offer feedback, and discuss the unique twists and turns of each story.
Whether you're an aspiring author or just love a good tale, You Right is your place to explore the endless possibilities of storytelling.
So grab a vat of Play-Doh, your tiny hands, and get comfortable, and let's dive into this week's stories.
And remember, the only limit is your imagination and how much Play-Doh you have.
Right.
So let's see what you got.
Yeah.
And joining us today is none other than Otto, the German short-haired pointer.
Yes.
Say hello, Otto. No? You're done talking? Okay.
Okay, he's been talking a lot, though.
It's been chatty, so we'll see.
Hi, Otto.
Well, how you been?
Well, really good. I've been in an altered state of consciousness all day.
A little drowsy?
Yeah. I can't really explain why, but I've been in an extremely altered state of consciousness all day. And so luckily it has somewhat faded. Now Otto's wanting to talk.
Yeah, now he's chatty. Well, have you recovered even a little bit?
I have. I'm much more alert than I was at, say, noon, 1, 2, 3, 4.
10 minutes ago?
Yeah. But I am doing good. I wanted to write for this one because I really want to foil my villain, which I will. But I had the responsibility of finishing like 2/3 of a very, very long novel this weekend and week. And so, yeah, didn't get around to it.
Yeah. Fair.
What about you? How are you?
I'm good. Just, I feel like I'm finally recovering from this kitchen remodel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know, there's like seems like once a 3 months, once a quarter. It seems like I just enter, like, there's like a week where, like, I just don't care. Like, it's just sheer apathy sets in.
Right. About life, like everything.
Just whatever it is. I don't care.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And so that was, I feel like, the end of last week and the first part of this week. And it's just like, finally, yesterday, I was starting to feel like myself again. It's like, okay, finally. So,
Yay.
but I was like, is it a full moon? No. I was like, what?
Once a quarter.
What is it?
Is it accompanied by depression or is it just apathy?
Mild depression.
Okay.
But nothing clinical.
Right.
Nothing that, like, troubles me beyond the fact that I'm aware of it. And I'm just like, God, I really should care.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Yeah.
So, not sure why that is.
Okay.
But I think I'm over that hump.
Nice.
Finally.
Yay. Welcome back.
Thanks.
Welcome to the other side.
Thanks. So yeah, glad to be back.
Yes. Welcome.
Well, did you see all our stories?
Yes, I did.
Well, who of these authors who submitted are we reading this week?
I believe that we have decided to read NickedYou.
So this is The Fangs by NickedYou.
They flew over the small farming village in the dawning light. It was a humble and rugged place, like most, with bare wooden farmhouses and simple brick chimneys, flues coughing up dark smoke that the two had to fly around. Tutsutvu mused that she always felt a tug on her heart when an adventurer turned to crime. This one, Spruce, had been on his way up in life, despite rough beginnings in the city. He had turned his levels as a rogue towards exploring the dungeons as an advanced scout, gathering information and taking samples of whatever meager loot could be found. It seemed that he had been led astray once more, though. There had been a minor revolt against a noble who had been overzealous in collecting grain, and in the aftermath, Spruce had been caught aiding some of the rebels and was now fleeing himself. Tutsutvu and Garantu descended into the village, cautiously. Tutsutvu's expanded danger sense detected little in the wide area it covered. Nothing out of the ordinary for a bunch of farmers and serfs. but there could be more rogues or rebels with skills to fool her own. An old Tarl with the lower body of a horse saw their descent and bent his head in respect. "What can we do for you, sir?" the man called. "We are looking for a rebel and former adventurer by the name of Spruce," Garantu said back. "We ain't heard nothing about any rebels, sir. Things are bad enough. Don't need no more commotion." "We heard he was coming this way, sir," Garantu said. His insistence on referring to people as sir or lady, no matter their standing, was something that had endeared him to Tutsutvu early in their courtship. "Well, you're welcome to look," the old man gestured. The two of them circled in a widening spiral. They had a list of Spruce's skills, and only a couple weak ones were for hiding, though he might have gained more or stolen some gear to enhance his abilities in some way. Nothing to match theirs, of course, but enough to maybe stall them. Maybe he was hiding in a house, waiting to bolt, hoping that a delay in their response would let him get away. They found the rogue at last. As he lay in the mud at the edge of a field, he spared a look up, and their eyes met. He knew they'd seen him. Spruce slowly stood. His body was like that of a halfling, and with brown goat's fur covering his body, only leaving his face hairless. His eyes were dark and beady, and seemed to search into Tutsutvu. The two of them descended again, though they kept distant this time. Tutsutvu used hummingbird flutter to stay in place while she talked, while her husband dropped a pair of manacles from above and then began to circle around. "I only wanted to save people, you know," Spruce said. "They would have hurt more people," Tutsutvu retorted. "Not if they were fed and clothed. They only wanted to live. They killed people." "They were hungry," Spruce insisted, a hiss in his voice. "I'm sorry, but that is not an excuse," she said as gently as she could. "Now, please, put those on. We will walk you to a courthouse and you will receive a fair trial." A grim smile split his face. "We both know the outcome of that trial." "You deserve to be heard, and the judge will hear you," she stressed. Something seemed to go out of him, and he nodded and said, "I guess I'll take my chances then." As he bent down to pick up the manacles, Tutsutvu stayed alert, having had too much experience. And very suddenly, he was in front of her, dozens of feet in the air, swinging the manacles at her. Disengage and smokescreen were enough to save her from the blow, and he was high in the air and disoriented. She drew her lance from her bag of holding, used close distance, and then power thrust. The lance pierced his heart, and he fell limp to the ground below with a sad thud. The whole fight took a couple of seconds. She reflected that it wasn't really fair.
All right, excellent.
Thank you.
Yeah, well done.
That was hard in my altered state of consciousness. But yeah, that was really good. Wait, I want to mention something before I forget it, which is somebody in the comments, and I do not remember who, commented, it might have been Walker, commented that the ending was sudden, but that you can do that if you spend enough time setting up the characters.
Yeah, that's true.
And that really struck me as very like profound. I was like, touche. I'd never really thought about that. But it's like, if you spend enough time setting it up, then you can do like a swift ending like that. You know,
yeah.
But if you don't, then it just seems like you're rushing through it.
Yeah, because so long as you get enough detail about your characters and setting them up, you don't feel cheated at the end if it comes quickly.
Right.
It's
exactly.
it's a quick ending, but you don't. I think that's the main thing about an abrupt ending is you don't want to feel cheated.
Right. Totally.
But yeah, that's a great point. So yeah, I'm just going to keep coming back to it. I love this kind of lit RPG style that you have going here. I'm really curious where this falls in as a foil. What are your thoughts on this story as describing a foil? Because
I feel like they foiled a character that was similar to, what was that guy's name last week?
Oh man, I don't remember.
It was in the comments. They mentioned it. And I think that Nicked even mentioned that was kind of what made it a foil. I think he did, or at least he alluded to that.
I did like the compare and contrast with Basher. That's who it was.
Basher, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I kind of kept waiting for Basher to show up.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I felt like it was a foil of a character similar to Basher, who that's kind of how I interpreted it. And then but he couldn't quite kill off Basher yet because
yeah, maybe Basher is getting a redemption arc or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can't immediately confront that character. So in this case, Spruce is our foil, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So meant to contrast against the character of Basher.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like this kind of setting him up as a protagonist on the run.
Mm-hmm.
Like that actually is a really great premise to kind of start us off with the good guy.
Yeah.
It's this sort of kind of Robin Hood-esque character.
Yeah.
Essentially doing quote unquote bad deeds for the sake of something good.
Right. Like what I had to go back and reread this because I'm like, wait, what? They killed people. They only wanted to live. Who's they?
Yeah, I'm assuming this is a bit of dramatic irony. Or no, inverse. This is like us, the author, withholding information, not us knowing something that the characters don't. So yeah, this, I feel like this may be intentionally withheld to the point that maybe we'll get an entry describing who they are and their plight, and dive in deeper into the circumstances that led to Spruce to do these things to help these people that essentially is going to put him in front of a trial, in front of a judge.
So I kind of saw Tutsutvu and Garantu as enforcers.
Yes. Yeah, they feel like cops, basically.
They're like rangers.
Yeah. Yeah. And I I really like this as a setup for moving us deeper into the character of Spruce. The way that we meet Spruce and all that happened for us to finally get some dialogue from Spruce between these two, we'll call them cop characters. I just kind of really like this as a lead-in, as an introduction for Spruce.
Yeah.
This is really a really cool way to introduce a new character.
I really like the name Spruce.
Yeah. Also a great tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Big ol' evergreen.
It's a good bird name.
Spruce?
Yeah. Because spruce is a bird, right? I assumed that Spruce was a bird character similar to Basher, and the two enforcers are also birds.
Yeah, I thought the enforcer were birds, but I was trying to remember, was Spruce a bird character?
I don't know if it was mentioned, but I just assumed it.
Yeah, I kind of was too. So we know Spruce is a rogue. I don't know that we get a race.
A race?
Well, yeah, like in RPG terms, like you have like race and class.
Oh.
Yeah, and so the class would be rogue, and race would be,
bird.
Or Aarakocra or something, something, like in-world lore. Like another example of race would be Tarl.
Yeah.
For the almost like Minotaur-esque.
So race is used as like species.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like I should have done the things in parentheses in more of like a computer voice.
I was actually curious about that. The bracketed.
Yeah.
Yeah. That seems. NickedYou could have done that for a couple of reasons. The first one that I thought it was is that maybe NickedYou would change what these things are and what they're called and brackets them as like, this is a maybe. I might call it this. Or it's a means of kind of gesturing broadly at this as like a game. Like we're in a game, and these are like in-game skills.
Yeah.
Or like the kind of lit RPG side I was mentioning. And I think it's probably the latter. It's meant to reinforce that these are aspects of this game that we're reading about. Yeah.
Whenever it brings in the Tarl, and it's like an old Tarl with the lower body of a horse. So if this is supposed to be happening before the last entry, that works. But if it's supposed to happen after, it's like, it's unnecessary because there was already lots of details about what a Tarl is.
Yeah.
And that's just like, egregious. It's excessive. It's just like, oh, and by the way, it's almost like, I don't know.
It's a bit redundant.
It's redundant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basing off of our conversation about the comment from last week on the Tarl.
Yes.
Is this a better example of how to implement? I guess so. You would call it essentially a made up word, but a means of introducing a new idea.
If it's in place of what was last week, I think saying an old Tarl with the lower body of a horse and the upper body of a man, like, because you say he has a lower body of a horse, okay, but what's on top? Is it a bull or is it a man?
Yeah, we get half the picture.
Yeah, we only get half the picture. So, if this is the first introduction of Tarl, this definitely works better than last week.
Yeah,
where it was supposed to be in Basher's point of view. This is more of like a narrative point of view. Well, it is a narrative point of view, which is good.
Yeah,
it's just that give us the full picture.
Yeah, I would agree. This is more. If this comes first before the entry about Basher, then and I think. Just based on kind of what we have so far in this story, I think this should come first. I don't know. I'm curious, but we only have 2 entries so far that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I can't say for sure because I just don't have enough context.
Yeah, but as the kind of descriptive quality and the way that this feels like a great setup. This feels like a great place to jump in and kind of get our feet wet.
But here's a question. Why is it called the Fangs? Why is this entry called the Fangs? Could that be a clue as to who they are?
Maybe the name of the group is the Fangs.
Maybe, or maybe they're wolves.
Could be. Greatly misunderstood. Yeah, I could see that.
I don't know.
I'd buy that. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I hadn't considered the title.
Yeah.
Because there's not really anything to clue us into any fanged creatures.
No.
I do feel like we got some. His body was like that of a halfling, with brown goat's fur covering his body, only leaving his face hairless. His eyes were dark and beady. And seemed to search into Tsutfu.
Maybe Spruce isn't a bird.
I don't think he is. That's why I was kind of bouncing off of that. I don't know if that was right, because like you, I thought they were looking for another bird creature, because based off of last week with Basher, in this about Tsutfu and
Garandu, yes.
So between those two, I assumed it was just another kind of bird race character, but I don't think so.
Yeah, maybe it's a okay, we got Tarl, but a Tarl, Tar is obviously bull. And as far as I know, Tarl has no bull parts, just horse and man. Correct?
Well, I think last week we got that it is part like bovine.
Okay.
Or horses are equine.
They're equine. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Well, so maybe this is a cobble.
Oh, yeah.
A cabral. Hey, listen, Nicked, Cabral. I just made that word up. You can use it if you want. Cabral. If Spruce is half goat.
Oh, because like Caprid or like
I mean, cabra.
Yeah.
Cabra, like goat.
Yeah.
And if we're ending with AL, cabral,
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think, Nick? You can use that if you want, just saying. Because obviously the original word would be satyr, but he's wanting to make up his own world here, not a Greek mythology word, world.
Yeah, but at the same time, I like this idea of rooting it in words that we are familiar with.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, which is why Tarl made sense. And I do feel like it was like a bull. Like part bull,
we
like
have to look
bull.
Into last week's episode. Okay, I'm going back to the last week's one. I'm looking. Oh, here we go. Okay. He spotted a crew of workers coming in from working the fields. There were 2 with the full 4 legs and lower bodies of horses, with upper bodies more like hairless giants, while the other few had 2 legs like goats and upper bodies like halflings, though one also had a sheep-like head. Okay. And then it says, where's the word? Oh, he didn't even say Tarl.
It was in a comment that he had mentioned that he would use it as Tarl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like we may have given bad advice then. Because, yeah, it sounds like horse and goat. That would be, like we mentioned, equine and caprid. And whereas tar would be more for bull and cow.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you wanted to say something with a horse, it would be hippo. The hippos.
Yeah, hippos.
Instead of Taurus. Taurus is bull. Hippos is horse. So something with that. Unless you just want to completely make new meanings for these words.
We're just deep diving into the name of this particular creature. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you know what?
I still like from the way it flows off of the tongue, Tarl is a nice word.
I do like the word Tarl.
I do like it.
I think it could either be a completely different world with different etymology, or it could have some element of a bull in there.
Yeah.
Maybe it could have a bullhorn, just one.
Yeah.
And a ring in its nose.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, the TAUR really does imply bull.
It does.
Yeah.
Very
really
much.
Does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what's weird?
Huh.
Red Bull is very heavy in taurine.
Oh.
Why? That has to be a coincidence.
Maybe that's why they called it Red Bull in the first place, is because it's heavy in taurine.
Maybe.
Fascinating.
Yeah, I want to know what's the etymology of the word taurine.
Oh, I'm sure I don't know.
I'm looking it up.
Occurs naturally in foods with protein such as meat or fish.
Oh, guess what? The word taurine originates from the Latin word taurus, meaning bull or ox. This is because taurine was first isolated from the bile of an ox by German scientists Friedrich Tiedemann and Leopold Gmelin in 1827. Oh, it feels so much better knowing that.
It just was a load off.
It was. I was just like,
you didn't know that you were burdened with this information.
No, it was like crushing down on me. It was like gradually like a trash compactor.
Over the course of 20 years.
Yes. And now suddenly I feel free, and I had no idea I was even imprisoned by this lack of knowledge.
Welcome out.
Thank you. Here we are.
Here we are.
Alrighty. So anyway.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, now we all know that.
Now we all know.
Yeah, Nick, that's an interesting dilemma that you have there. Half horse, half goat. What do you call that? What would you call that? Off the cuff.
All right.
I'd call it a gorse.
Give me just 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, okay?
Gorse.
I call it a gorse.
Or a hote.
I like hote. I would probably call it a hippocabra. Hippocabra.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Hippocabra, yep.
I feel like you would lose some people at HIPAA.
Oh, yeah.
They'd be like, so a hippo?
Right.
Like, no, horse.
But yeah, so a hippo, yeah.
And a hippopotamus is technically a water horse, right?
River horse.
River horse.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, I'm going to say hippocabra instead of the chupacabra. It's the hippocabra. Or...
Hippocaprinae.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah.
Or, because it's like, do you want to go with Latin or Greek? Because hippo is Greek, whereas Latin would be equus. So, equicabra.
Equicabra?
Mm-hmm. Equicabra. What do y'all think? Okay, listeners, do you like hippocabra or equicabra?
Or hote.
Or hote. Which is really, really cute.
Also, gorse.
Yes, or gorse. That's going to more like the Germanic side of etymology.
Quite.
Yeah. Like it.
Yeah. Well, thank you, NickedYou.
Thank you.
Thank you. And next we have Astrid the Scout by Richie Posier.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I really liked how the tables turned here.
Yeah.
And how the original villain actually ended up to be the victim.
Uh-huh.
I did not see that coming.
I also did not.
Because Richie was like, I feel like it might have been obvious, but I get that, Richie, because that's how I am, as I've mentioned before, that I think that whatever's in my head is just completely transparent to everybody, but it's not. So yeah, no, I didn't see that coming.
Mm-hmm. No, I also did not even remotely see this table turning so quickly.
Mm-mm.
And so yeah, James is a real bastard man.
Mm-hmm.
He's a bastard man. And yeah, Astrid clearly is out for vengeance.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, James set his jaw, now aware of the stakes. The switch flipped and he knew that he had two choices: fight or escape.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a really interesting place to send us off of what was such a violent opening from last week. And suddenly we realize, like, wow, the violence is absolutely justified based off of the circumstances why Astrid is here.
Right. And this again becomes a revenge fantasy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's just the thing you always want to happen. You want whoever was raped to chop off the balls of the rapist. You know, it's like total revenge fantasy. One thing that confused me and seemed incongruous was the shock and confusion of James, both in the first one and even at the beginning of this one. Because I'm like, if he had, when was it? How much previous was it that he had attacked their village? Hold on. It says it in here.
About a year ago.
Okay, about a year ago. If just about a year ago, him and his peeps had raided this other village and murdered everybody, you'd think that he wouldn't be like so confused whenever somebody showed up to murder him. You know?
Yeah, I kind of had the same sensation. It's like, surely James would recognize Astrid.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless James is a monster.
Who does this all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like just one more victim to pile on the faces that keep him awake at night or don't keep him awake at night.
Right.
Yeah, it kind of struck me as James is more sociopathic that way, where he just doesn't register it as worth even remembering. So that was kind of where I took that, but I see exactly where you're coming from, because yeah, I thought the exact same thing. How could somebody commit such atrocities and not have any clear recollection
right.
that, oh yeah, I did all these horrible things. And not just James, but it's a group of people.
Right.
So yeah,
and then he acts all shocked and terrified when somebody breaks in and starts wreaking havoc on his village, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like if you did something like that, you should definitely see it coming. Retribution. Or at least be on the lookout for it, you know? Like constantly be like aware, like, oh, they're going to come back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, then again, he thought that he had killed everybody.
Yeah.
In that village.
Yeah, and he even mentions, tell me, how'd you get out here? We tried our hardest to make sure all of you were dead. It's hard to exterminate a rat's nest when there's just so many of them scurrying about. So yeah, James is a real piece of work, man.
Yeah. And he's got a lot of balls, pun intended, when he is still talking trash to her, knowing what she is about to do to him.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah, balls of steel for now.
Right.
Yeah.
Not for long.
Not for long. Yeah. Yeah, it was quite the turn, and I'm with you. The demeanor of James throughout all of this is it feels a little hard to believe.
Yeah.
Either that or he's just a good actor. Maybe that's part of what it is. He's putting on a face to maybe feign innocence. Maybe that's his default, is just, I'm innocent. I'm an innocent, so-and-so. And then somebody calls him out red-handed, and then he just like changes, takes the mask off in front of our character, in front of Astrid.
Yeah, maybe. Crazy guy.
That's right, he grinned. Astrid, how could I forget? Such a sweet face.
So, I mean, I'm excited to see, I'd like to see even more of this scene unfold, because he's still got his arrogance. I'd like to see that arrogance get beaten out of him.
Yeah. Yeah, and this was essentially just this dialogue between James and Astrid. So we didn't even progress the plot any further other than we have switched the tables.
Yeah.
We spent one whole entry to turn this table,
Right.
which is exactly what this type of scene deserves.
Mm-hmm. I have one grammar note, which is in the second to the last paragraph. If you call the last thing a paragraph because it's just a sentence. She says, Astrid smirked. I've never castrated anyone before. I kind of liked it. So whenever I read the first part of that sentence, I was like, oh, didn't she already castrate James's friend? And she did, but that's confusing because you use the present perfect here.
Mm-hmm.
You need to use the past perfect here. I'd never castrated anyone before. I kind of liked it. Because then whenever I read the I kind of liked it part, I was like, okay, yeah, I was right. She did already castrate James's friend. But the present perfect there, it doesn't make sense. So yeah, that should be past perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. In dialogue, I'm much easier to forgive things like that. But you're right. From a writerly standpoint, yes. I'd never, because it's a contraction.
Yeah.
I've never, or I'd never. Yeah, I think that's worth making Astrid aware that she has castrated somebody.
That she just now did her first castration.
Yeah. I'd never castrated anyone before versus I've never castrated anyone before. Yeah, it is subtle, but yeah, it is.
Because it suddenly throws unnecessary confusion into the storyline.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, where clarity is absolutely necessary. When you're turning these tables, the clarity is necessary. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Well, hey, thank you, Richie.
Thank you, Richie.
And up next, Matt's Guide to Success in Life, Option 2, Steal from Work.
Yes.
By Walker by Faith. All right. Option 2, we made it. We're here.
Here we are.
We're here. Yeah, out of the gate with our worldview firmly situated in the United States of America. This author knows that we all know that hard work equals success.
Yep. But by the way, skipping to the end, none of this applies to you if you're not white.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Disregard everything that follows if you're not white.
Right.
Yeah. But I'm not going to give you that information until the very end, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I liked the talking down to the reader where it's like, and power is contextual, as there are certain things currently in your power and certain things that lay firmly outside your grasp, like half the words in this book so far.
Yeah. How condescending.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah.
I love that, like, immediate condescension.
Yeah,
but it's kind of like nice, said nicely, not offensively. It's like, I know you don't understand half the words in this book.
Yeah. And I think unlike the other ones, we don't get like a dumbed down version of this. Or is that what the in-text guide is meant to be? And I think the in-text guide is basically kind of dividing it out into sections. Yeah.
It's like giving the bottom line.
Yeah.
It's underscoring the main points.
It's not meant to dumb down. It's just meant to highlight.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah. Because I feel like before we had something like parts of it meant to be, heavy air quotes, accessible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it struck me as like in an article where they will have in bold in the middle of the text, one line, but several times throughout it.
Yeah.
Or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I buy that. Yeah, and it's broken out to.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I like the random names that were chosen there. Yeah. Don, Jeff, Elon, just
super random.
Throwing out some random names.
Couldn't possibly be anybody anyone would know.
No.
Oh, no.
No. But I like that this distinction between when you're on the lower rung of the ladder, you're stealing. And then when you are on the upper rung, you're punishing those who steal like you did.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's not infuriating at all.
No.
Not
at all. And when it's eventually, however, you will get to the point where your apartment looks like a mini version of the manager's office. It's because you've stolen so many things.
Yeah.
That it looks exactly like it.
And then isn't that followed up with where is it like you can't invite so and so over?
At which point you will no longer be able to lie to yourself that you could ever take the front desk receptionist home for Netflix and chill time.
Right.
Because up until then you've been like, oh, one of these days I might get her to come over. But then finally you're like, wait, I can't do that anymore because
then I will literally be owning to all of the shit that I've stolen.
Exactly.
Yeah. I like all the different angles that you approach stealing from work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's many ways.
If it's not nailed down and no one is looking, it's yours.
Yeah.
If you can't steal their stuff, steal their secrets.
Right.
Yeah. And then basically time theft.
Mm-hmm. Clock in for an urgent call.
Yeah.
On the week. Clock in.
Yeah.
If I just like went to my office and like clocked in for an urgent call, that'd be hilarious.
Oh yeah. But cutting as usual.
98-minute power nap.
When you're doing focused work in your office. Yeah.
Yes, a 98-minute power hibernation.
Yeah. Which as a rule, I diametrically oppose naps.
Okay.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I wake up from a nap that I've ever taken in my life, I felt more tired than when I went to sleep.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're going to sleep, you sleep.
Right. You sleep.
You sleep. You don't just nap, you sleep.
Okay.
Like, that's the only time I ever wake up rested is if I just sleep. If I nap, I'm worthless. I can't do a damn thing.
Wow.
From then on.
I'd like to share something about naps. I don't know if I've even told this to anybody before, but
Grabs popcorn.
Yeah, I have always been a napper.
Mm-hmm.
That's not news. Everybody knows that.
No.
A napper, and for me, a power nap has to be at least 90 minutes. Like, but I could nap for like 4 hours. I have an addiction problem with naps. Yeah.
No.
Where it's like, if I feel stressed, nap. If I feel sad, nap. If I feel overwhelmed, nap.
You need a nap detox.
Yeah. I'm just like, I just don't know where else to turn but my bed. And so I nap. Okay, but as you all know, as I've mentioned, I lost my damn mind last year.
Your damn mind.
My damn marbles. And but when I came back to sanity, when I found my marbles, when I recollected my marbles.
You went to all the corners like, oh, there's one.
Yep.
Yep.
Gradually over like months, I have never been able to take a nap again.
Wow. Huh.
And I've been like that as a napper for many, many years. But suddenly something broke within me, that's for sure. But one of the things that I lost was my napping tendencies.
Tendencies or ability?
I actually can still nap, like desire. My desire to nap is gone. I still can. Like, I actually forced myself to take a nap like 2 weeks ago whenever I randomly had the afternoon off.
Yeah.
And I was able to do it, but I don't want it anymore.
Yeah.
My desire for naps is gone.
Welcome to the club.
Thank you.
Welcome. Hell yeah. Anti-naps.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say I'm anti.
I'm anti.
I know you are, but I just don't have a desire to nap anymore. What happened, everybody?
I think it's a sign of strong mental fortitude if you don't nap.
Okay.
He said like he knew anything.
Right. Sure. I mean, a lot of famous and very powerful and exceptional people have napped, but
yeah, but what do they know?
That's true. They don't know shit.
They don't know nothing.
I don't know, but I suddenly can't nap. It's a weird sensation.
Yeah, mine is just I wake up feeling more tired than whenever I went down for the nap in the first place.
Went down for
the nap.
Down.
Go down on the nap.
Yeah, go down for the nap.
For the nap.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, now we know my opinions on that 98-minute power nap.
Right. You know mine as well. Work from home. Ha ha ha.
More.
I love that. I know, no, but for real though, anytime I see that on somebody's office working from home, I'm like, LOL. Sure you are.
Sure.
Like if I'm home, I ain't doing shit. I
actually do occasionally work from home.
Wow.
Like especially if I've got something I need to focus on, like it's going to take me, 3-4 hours of work, just me sitting in front of my computer, I will take it home and work on it.
Okay.
Because if I'm at the office, like I'm going to have phone calls and other employees that are just going to be like in and out of my office and just constantly just breaking my concentration.
Yeah.
Like I can hyper focus. I can fully unleash my ADHD if I'm at home and just hyper focus on one task and get it done in 3 or 4 hours. So I genuinely can focus better at home on a single task.
Interesting.
But if I have to just do like my day-to-day stuff, I need to go into work.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'm not going to do a damn thing.
Yeah.
because of aforementioned ADHD.
Right.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
But you can work from home. That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I almost did that today. But not so I could focus on anything. It's because it was rainy and I was sleepy.
Yeah, so cozy.
And I didn't want to be sitting in my office.
No, it was so cozy. I mean, it still is cozy out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Every year, July 4th week, it's just deluge.
I know.
I don't understand it.
I really hope it doesn't rain tomorrow.
I think it probably will some.
It's supposed to, maybe in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah. You got plans tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm having a barbecue with my students.
Oh, hell
at
yeah.
the park.
Right on.
Yes.
Right on.
Oh, yeah. I like how it's like, unless you're not white, where is it where it says what used to be cute or what?
Oh,
where's that?
Right here. If you do follow the advice in this chapter, do so very carefully. What is seen in a Caucasian as cute will be cause for immediate termination for you, my friend.
Right.
You must simply find your route to career success on another avenue, as this one is twisted and curved and goes straight through the mountains of Caucasus. Yeah.
Or however you
Caucasus.
say that. Caucasus. Okay.
Caucasus.
But,
the corpses along the road. Yeah.
And I thought about that and I was like, I feel like that's true. Like I've had white coworkers, namely at Starbucks, who would steal stuff and it would just be like, LOL, like so-and-so is such a klepto.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But I didn't see the inverse happening of a not white person stealing something and getting in trouble for it, where a white person would have. But I can imagine that would be the case.
Yeah. Yeah. Granted, a lot of our coworkers were shady as fuck.
Oh yeah.
Like we had some very colorful people that we worked with.
For sure.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite things about working at Starbucks.
Yeah.
Is, oh my God, we had such a wide variety of coworkers.
Of weirdos.
Just weird people.
Yeah, it was great.
It was wonderful.
It was great. Good old days.
Hence these two loons that you're listening to.
We were forged in the fires of Bucks.
Yes. Both of us heavily caffeinated.
Extremely caffeinated.
Like too caffeinated.
Like we should have died. We should have dropped dead.
Yeah. I think I've probably shaved at least 10 to 12 years off of my life.
Yeah.
Like my heart's just like, you know what? That's it.
Right.
Like I can't.
Yeah, because you suddenly get it to do like way more beats than it's supposed to per minute. And you do that repetitively every day for hours and hours and hours.
For years on end.
For years on end, and let's say that there's a certain amount of beats that a heart will, let's say every heart is programmed to beat a certain amount of beats before it stops. And then you've used them all up.
Have you seen the movie Gattaca?
I don't think so.
That's a great movie. It's not a new movie. It's a pretty old movie.
Have.
Ethan Hawke, Jude Law, Uma Thurman. It's set in a world where basically they can decide genetically who your child is going to be. Like you have choices. Like they realize like, oh, we're just going to go ahead and get rid of myopia and all these like other genetic things that will crop up in children who are born naturally. And so they basically have like selective birthing. Like it's still their like a couple's child. But
right. Like that really exists.
Yeah,
you can
not to the
fuck with the DNA.
not to the degree that the movie takes it
Okay.
to. I think it's an excellent story and
Nice.
an excellent kind of futuristic. It's very light sci-fi, I would say. Basically around those ideas, but Ethan Hawke is not a, exceptional baby.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like a naturally born, I think they're called love childs or something like that.
Cute.
But yeah, that's the whole premise, is that he's trying to make it in the world, having not been born this way, and trying to excel around people who are genetically superior to him.
I want to watch that. That sounds very interesting.
It's a great movie. I really like it. I want to say it's based off of a story by Philip K. Dick, or I am hallucinating that. One of the two. But anyway, yeah. Now that you've seen what your contextual power can do in the workplace, it's time to claim true financial freedom with a hard reset of your expectations and obligations. Filing bankruptcy. That's next.
Can't wait.
That's next.
That's going to be good.
Yeah, and based on some name drops that we got in here, not that, I mean, they're very random names.
Right.
I can kind of, I don't want to say guess, but I could see where you could go with the next one.
Oh yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I will say this was very, very cleverly written, and I was chuckling the whole time I was reading it.
So. Yes, Walker. As always, this is the style we've come to know and love from you, and you've certainly delivered here today.
I feel like you're sharpening your satirical skills.
Yes,
I love it.
Excellent. And up next, An Upset Client, Part 2, by Steve Livingham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, here the foil. It's interesting. The foil is
himself,
but everybody's foiled because first.
So he's the villain and the foil and the victim.
Yeah, because remember how we said everybody in this story was a villain?
Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody got foiled.
Yeah. Sam
gets foiled by getting taken out by a SWAT team, and then the food industry gets foiled as well, which were the worst villains, because they killed tons of people. And then you find out why all the rage from Sam, because his children died of food allergies because of these assholes. And then his wife killed herself because of losing her children.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a very clever way, in my opinion, to drop in some backstory. And it's devastating backstory. Yeah. And to deliver it this way through a news broadcast, this kind of, like almost like soundbite style. Like that's a very, like that made my eyebrows go up. I was like, oh, like you're offering very clear motivation well after the fact.
Right.
I think that's a fairly clever way to present the motivations of Sam in this context, since so much of what we did was this in media res.
Yes.
And just kind of circling back on all of this. I thought that was very clever.
Yeah, and I feel like Steve has a really good like anchor person text here. It's like very realistic.
Very believable.
Yeah.
Anchor dialogue here, or monologue.
Yeah. Yep. It also is a fantasy ending.
It is, yeah.
Because it's like, well, based on that guy getting killed, today every single thing about the food industry is changing. Not everything, but huge reforms in the food industry are suddenly happening.
Yeah.
But that for that to actually happen, there would be huge fucking pushback.
Yeah.
From the people that are making a whole lot of money by poisoning Americans.
It would basically be like a silent pushback. Like it'd just go away.
Yeah.
And we'd never hear anything about it again.
Right. They would just keep doing that because those companies are so rich and so powerful.
They just need to weather it.
Yeah. That they're not going to go away that easily.
Yeah. But yeah, it is certainly a fantasy.
It is.
But I think that's on theme, on brand, if you will, because of what the first entry was, a rage fantasy.
Right.
And so this is like a catharsis fantasy.
Yeah.
So we kind of get two sides of the same fantasy,
Mm-hmm.
more or less. The being able to take out all these frustrations and then to see all of these frustrations be alleviated.
Yeah.
So it is two sides of the same fantasy, I feel like. So,
I agree.
Yeah.
It's a good foal.
Mm-hmm.
Here in Lubbock, people say foal.
Foal?
Is it in Lubbock or in Georgia? I forgot.
Foal? Like a
For
foil?
foal.
Foil? I think that must be Georgia.
Oh, yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Foil.
Uh,
You said foal, and I was like a young horse?
Yeah, I know. I said it like that because that's how people either here in Georgia. I confuse my southern accents sometimes, but foal. I think it's a lot of Lubbockites to say that because and oil for oil.
Oh, oil. Yeah.
Oil, but in Georgia they say ow.
That's wild.
Ow. Mm-hmm.
Ow.
Yeah. Gotta
So
go
owl?
get my owl changed. Ow.
All?
Ow.
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 Yeah. Yeah. But here it's owl.
Oh, yeah.
Owl. Owl.
Oh.
Owl.
Oh.
Owl.
Or
It's like
just
it reminds me.
noises.
I know it reminds me whenever I first learned the word for forest in Mongolian, and I got so irritated because the word is just oi, oi,
I.
oi. And my friend told me, I was like,
Oi.
"Shut the fuck up." He's like, "All right, but that's still the word for forest."
Whether you like it or not, that's what it is.
I'm just like, is this even a language? You're not even saying words.
I.
Somebody
Oi.
could say that about oh,
Oh.
oh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
When it's in fact oil.
for you it is.
Yeah.
But for those people, it's oh.
Oh.
Mhm.
Going to the old pad.
Yeah, the old patch.
Old patch.
I got me a old patch.
Yeah. Or the all field.
Yeah, the old field. Yeah, you've heard people say that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Although I will admit, most people are a little bit clear.
Except for the people who work in oil fields.
Going out the oil field. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It is oil field.
It's oil.
Yeah, going out the oil field.
Yeah. And in the place where I'm from in Georgia, they add syllables to everything. So it's ow. Although that's not even adding because oil is 2 syllables. Oil. But it's ow.
Ow.
They just make it ow.
Ow. It's like saying,
ow.
I was like, are you hurt? Ow.
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 I need to get me some cooking ow. That's what my grandma says.
Huh.
Can you pick me up some cooking ow?
It's like, I'm not going to eat an owl.
Oh, you mean an owl who's a chef? A cooking owl?
A cooking owl. Oh, well, of course I'll get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just tell me where you can find that and I'll go fetch it.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so I really like this, Steve, for its kind of mirroring the fantasy on the other side.
Yes.
We flip from the rage side to the more
I like it too.
holistic side, I guess.
And I like the occasional happy ending, you know?
Yeah.
It feels good. It's like, yay. I mean, cool.
Yeah, especially about things that are just so devastatingly unsolvable.
Yeah.
Like
So bleak.
so bleak, so big, so beyond us as individuals to be able to do anything about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Excellent. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Steve.
And our last story this week is Folie à Deux by Jake.
That was good.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't know if that's how you say that, but I believe you. I know it's French.
Oh, it is spelled different. Because folie, this is folie à deux.
I don't know how that's pronounced in French, but foile
Folie à deux.
à deux.
Folie à deux. Yeah.
Very good. Oh, okay. So this story is very personal.
Very personal story.
Yes.
So out of the gate, Jake, thank you for trusting us with the truth that you had to speak here.
Yes.
I think it really does matter that you are comfortable sharing this with us, and that we are going to hopefully do justice by the honesty that you gave us here. So first of all, thank you.
Yes.
That you can share all of this. Second of all, it's really leaning into the steal from work theme. From as soon as that came up from Walker, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like what a week to come to this realization. Because after you mentioning like I had a hard time trying to figure out a foil for this character, and that the incident that really came up in this is around this kind of theft in the workplace. It just struck me as kind of like stars aligning, like between Walker's story and this one. Like we get the satirical side of stealing from work, and then we get the honest brutality and the reality of what can happen from what Walker was satirizing.
Kind of place that you might be coming from
exactly
to get to that point.
Yeah.
I love I think it's so clever that the foil here is love or a person.
Yes.
You know, that's the foil, but it's a good foil. You know? It's a positive foil.
Yeah, absolutely. A counter, a contrast, through an individual. Yeah, this is probably, I think, as I would imagine foils from this week's story, I think this is more what I had in mind, like somebody to contrast directly. An individual to contrast directly with another individual. Where like Steve's was more like broad foils, like you have, but without getting too comparative, I think this is an excellent foil. To your previous
very
villain.
very unique.
Yes. Yeah. I really like this. She made the first move on the first kiss, the old close your eyes trick. And we parted. It was a connection that I've never experienced before. That was when these things that I had been battling with, inadequacy, unworthiness, self-loathing, gave their last hurrah. I really like that, and it's so earnest and simple. Just kind of a humble meeting and a humble, like a humble beginning to a relationship. I really like that.
I like the unconditional love that Sarah is exhibiting, and how she's not like freaked out or like, oh my God, she's like calm and she has unconditional love. I like the hopeful tinge where the mention of, I thought that no one would love a boy that had been molested and beaten by his stepbrother for years. In reality, he did what he did, and I'm stronger now for having come to terms with it. I like that hopeful tinge of coming through a trauma like that and being able to glean something positive from it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely, because it could easily swing the other way. Probably more likely to swing the other way. But just being able to take these traumas, or this particular trauma in this instance, and be able to look at it and grow from it. That takes strength and courage.
It does.
Yeah, absolutely it does. And I really like these kind of call in. I thought that I disappointed my family by not going back to college. And then in parentheses, in reality, my family only cared that I was happy. I thought that I would never be good enough for society because of the bullying I received in school. In parentheses, in reality, I just wasn't good enough for that group of teenagers. I like this kind of almost like call and response that we get between what I thought and what was reality. And just like setting these things like as almost foils in themselves, like these this internal dialogue that you have that is basically canceling out these thoughts, these negative thoughts, and what came of them. So I really liked that, and that you kind of carry that through.
Me too. And I really like it towards the end where it's like we helped lighten each other's load of burdens of mental anguish, and that's what love truly is to me. I just love that concept, and that's something that, took me personally a while to learn, that's kind of like what love is about, is like mutually, carrying each other's burdens, and also like good times and bad times,
I think we've brought it up before, but I think a relationship is just a balancing act. And it's carrying the good and the bad, the bad and the ugly, and just being there regardless of whatever happens.
Unconditional.
Indeed. Yeah. Sarah is a hero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She sounds like a badass.
Yeah. She sounds a lot like Kim.
Yeah.
Kim's badass.
Yeah, she is.
Just like this. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I can think of some instances where Kim has been this way for me, and just in the worst times, and has just just present. We'll
Right.
just listen.
Unflinching. Just
always
like a
present.
very, very reliable presence.
Yes.
Yeah.
Always.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Jake.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. And thank you for that clever approach to the foil.
Yes. That especially coming from truth like this from your real life.
Yeah.
What a way to really express how an individual can contrast another in such a meaningful way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Excellent. Thank you, Jake.
Thank you, Jake.
And that is all of our stories for this week.
Woo!
So thank you, NickedYou, for being selected here today, as well as Richie Posier, Walker by Faith, Steve Living Room, and the Prismatics 19, also known as Jake.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Yao.
And that moves us into
episode 45. 44.
44.
Yeah, but wait, I want to say, Steve, I like your idea of having a place where we can comment on the episodes.
Yeah.
I really like that idea because I wonder so many times, what did they think about this that we said or these ideas that we had? I want to know what you thought about it. And the only place that I've ever been able to see responses is on the previous episode. And to me, that's kind of like gets lost in the shuffle. So I like having a place where we can just comment on y'all, and we can just comment on the episode.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. And
It's Korean.
Why is your watch in Korean?
I don't know. I don't speak Korean. I don't write Korean. I've never asked it to do anything in Korean.
And yet, there it is.
Yeah.
In Korean.
The fuck?
I don't know.
The fuck? I like Koreans. I just,
I don't speak it.
I'm just, yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I like the idea of having a place to comment. I'm all for like organic growth in things like this. So wherever makes sense to you guys, well, that's where it can land. If you need anything from me, I'm more than happy to create a post, like do an official thing on the subreddit. The other thing is I do have a working Discord server set up for you, right? It's just very minimal, very bare, and
primitive.
Very primitive. And so at this point, I don't know if I want to split our efforts, divide our awareness for anybody who may come to the podcast across more than just Reddit at this point. So I don't think that I'm ready to open up the Discord server, but I don't know. You guys sound off. If Discord is something that you think you guys would utilize and would open up greater discussion between you guys, then by all means, we can certainly open it up. But at this point, I don't know that we necessarily need it. But I can certainly create a post for the episode discussion after the fact. But like I said, I'm all about just kind of organic growth wherever makes sense to you guys.
Yeah.
Post your feedback.
Yeah.
And Steve took it on himself to do the last week's episode. Was it last week? Yeah, it was last week's.
Yeah. Yes.
Basically following up on last week's discussion, which works great.
I like that. I like the idea of keeping the discussion going.
Yeah, I do too, and keeping it visible as well. So if you want, by all means, anybody can make posts on the subreddit, not just us. So if you want to highlight your discussion, by all means, post it there.
Yeah.
It's not just for the podcast episodes, but it is there primarily for the discussion. And yeah. I think that worked great. It really did encourage greater discussion on last week's episode.
Yes,
so
I concur.
Keep it up.
I concur.
And if we want to make it official, I'll just do a post after each episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that. I can do that. I just don't want it to get cluttered is all. Anyway.
Right.
Yeah. I try not to overthink it because as soon as I do, I will.
Yeah.
I'll keep doing it.
Stop.
Okay, so episode 44.
Yes.
The prompt for episode 44 is an image prompt.
Yes, it is.
And you can find that image prompt on the aforementioned subreddit. And just go and click that link, and you'll see your image prompt.
It's pretty.
And the words to accompany this prompt are lesson, helicopter, umbrella, morning, and labor.
Those are good words.
Those are good ones.
Those are good story words.
They really are.
Okay, the first one, lesson. What kind of lesson are we talking about here? Lesson or Lessen?
The former.
Alrighty. Lesson. Lesson is a noun. Welcome to today's lesson.
It's also an adjective.
Yes.
Adjectival noun.
Yes.
Lesson plan.
Yep. That's
lesson
right.
Station.
That's the lesson station. Yes. Lesson plan. Lesson. Lesson is a funny word.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. And I'm pretty sure that it came from Latin lect, which means to read. So, yeah.
Yeah, like lecture.
Yeah,
lesson.
That also came from lect.
Yeah.
Lect, lecture, lesson. Yeah. I mean, okay, it's something that teaches something.
Or it is what is being taught.
Yeah.
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 It is the subject being taught, or the material being taught to. Usually a lesson is taught by a teacher or professor to students.
Yes.
Yeah, lesson.
Or you can have an informal lesson, like the lessons that my dad used to always teach us with his belt.
Yeah, like object lessons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He always would say, I'm going to teach you a lesson you'll never forget.
Did you?
Forget? No.
No? Okay.
No. That's what preceded the lashings.
Oh boy.
I'm going to teach you a lesson you'll never forget. That's what there were a lot of like sayings, like proverbs that preceded the lessons, but that was one of them. The lashings. Lesson.
Yeah.
Yep.
Many types of lessons, and it can span anything. Anything can be taught in a lesson.
Yeah.
How effective that lesson is largely up to the teacher and the student. Yeah.
The only thing that can't be, okay, because I was just thinking, can anything be taught? I'm thinking of all the verbs. And I'm like, yes, except for that I came up with one that I don't think can be taught. But can you think of one that can't be taught?
Like a verb?
You said anything can be taught. Can you think of anything that can't be taught?
That's a really stupid answer.
Tell me.
A loose string, by definition, is not taught.
Nice. That was a great.
I'm sorry.
That reminds me of one of the jokes that would be in front of my office.
Oh.
They have jokes like that.
When is a door not a door?
I don't know.
When it's a jar.
When is a door not a door? Oh, when it's a jar. Okay, wait. When does red mean go and green mean stop?
I don't know.
When you're eating a watermelon. That's the one on the sign right now in front of my office.
And then we just dive into riddles.
Really lame ones. Those are like Laffy Taffy jokes.
Yeah, and I did the one like, how far can you walk into the forest? Yeah, okay.
Halfway. Yep, I know that one now. Yeah,
you're walking out.
Yeah. What do you call the bird that represents wisdom?
An owl.
Yep. What do you call a bird that represents freedom?
A turkey?
An eagle, bro.
I know.
Play along. Okay. What do you call a bird that represents love?
A lovebird.
Can you think of a specific bird?
Lovebirds are specific birds.
Really?
Yeah, they come in pairs. They love each other.
You mean turtle doves?
Lovebirds.
All right. Well, the answer is turtle doves, but that doesn't matter.
Okay.
What do you call a bird that represents true love?
It's the swallow.
It is. Damn it. You knew that one.
I did know that one.
Ooh. Okay. What were we saying?
Lesson.
Oh, right. So I think that you can have all breathing lessons, like the most basic things, walking lessons, everything, sleeping lessons. But I don't think you can have lessons for the most common verb in the English language.
Is?
Yeah, be.
Be.
Be. Yeah. Can you teach somebody to exist?
I feel like you can, but it would be completely ineffectual.
But if they already exist, you don't need to teach them how to exist.
That's a life lesson. Those are life lessons.
But if you're trying to
that's teaching them how to be, not just to.
No, to be. You can teach someone to breathe, to walk, to sleep, but you cannot teach someone to exist.
Because they inherently do that regardless.
Exactly. And the reason is because, first of all, they're already inherently doing it, but also because be is actually not even a content verb. It's just a function verb.
Yeah.
It's only there to like follow grammar rules of English.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Ah.
Yeah. Okay. Lesson. Next word. Helicopter.
Helicopter.
You know the.
Oh, I like that. I need to practice that.
From Modern Family.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Helicopter reminds me of a term that I forgot to mention in our selected story, which was how one of the cop birds used the helicopter function, or no, the hummingbird function.
Oh yeah, hummingbird
to like levitate. Yeah, that's like helicopter.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, because they can just chill.
Hover.
Yeah, they can just hover there. Whereas like an airplane cannot do that.
Right.
You know?
It's specifically needs airspeed.
Right.
To maintain altitude.
Right.
Yeah.
I like the term whirlybird.
Whirlybird?
Whirlybird.
Or a whirling dervish.
Yeah. Do they call helicopters whirling dervishes?
I sure hope not, but I guess they could.
But whirlybird is a word for helicopter.
No, they don't.
No, okay,
they do not.
The mythical they do not. Okay, but guess what they do? They do call it a whirlybird.
Whirlybird?
Whirlybird.
Whirlybird.
If y'all want to use the word whirlybird instead of helicopter, I'll allow it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
A whirlybird is also the thing that goes on the top of your house that vents your attic. Like it spins.
Really? That's a whirlybird
That's
too?
That's a whirlybird. Whirlybird turbine.
I didn't know that.
Or maybe that's a brand?
A whirlybirdine.
Perhaps it's a brand. Unclear.
Okay.
But that's exactly the little spinny
I know the
doohickey on the roof.
I know the one.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah,
know.
I know about that one.
But yes, it also is slang for a helicopter.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Whirlybird. It's funny. It makes you sound like an old man. Well, it makes me smell like an old man.
Smell like an old man. Yikes.
It makes me sound like an old man. My mom would say that just to sound like an old man.
Whirlybird.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the next word, umbrella.
Umbrella, umbrella, umbrella,
it turns into an alarm clock.
Yeah.
What is the difference between an umbrella and a parasol?
An umbrella is meant to block the rain and a parasol is meant to block the sun.
Hey.
Yes.
It took me until my 30s to know that.
Really?
I also just never bothered to look it up, but
I've always known that. I also never bothered to look it up.
Good for you. I guess. Whatever. The only reason I even knew that parasols were even a thing was from the video game Kirby.
Okay.
Because you can get parasols.
Kirby. I remember Kirby.
Yeah. You know the little marshmallow fella?
Curbs.
Oh, Curbs.
Good old Curbs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not to be confused with the vacuum cleaner brand.
Right. No.
Those things were horrifying as children.
They still are. Okay, so I guess I don't know when I learned the word parasol, but I always just imagine ladies from the 1800s walking around with bustles and parasols and bonnets.
Of course.
Yeah.
And lots of ruffles.
Ruffles and lace.
Everywhere. Ruffles, lace, doilies.
Doilies.
Doilies on every flat surface.
Everywhere. Land of doilies back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, parasol. Oh, and you know what? Parasol is directly from Latin.
Our word is umbrella.
I know.
Okay.
But PRA is against, and sol is obviously sun. Parasol.
Oh, wow. It's right there, isn't it?
It's right there.
Right there.
Right
all the context is right there. All you had to do was look at it.
Yep.
You idiot. Talking to myself.
I know.
Sorry.
But I don't know where the word umbrella comes from. I'm actually curious now. Well, wait, pause, wait. I do know it comes from Latin because umbra is shade. Umbra is shade. And so At least that part. I mean, maybe it comes from French through Latin, Latin through French.
Umbra, Latin.
Mm-hmm.
Ombra, Italian, shade.
Mm-hmm.
Ombrea, Italian.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Is Italian, do they do the Y sound for double L like Spanish does?
No, I think they do L.
It is L, so
Yeah.
it'd be ombrella.
Yeah. Okay.
Ombrella.
Umbrella.
Ombrella.
Umbrella.
Yeah, is where it comes from. It's Italian origin to English.
Okay.
So Latin to Italian to English.
Cool. Okay, now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
That's right.
Hell yeah.
Under my umbrella, Ella, Ella, eh, eh, eh.
And then there's the rest of the song after that.
That doesn't matter. Only that part matters.
Yeah. And next word, morning. Morning.
Morning. Okay. Morning. This is the time where the sun comes up it's the time, I don't know, if you're trying to be like, there's a really confusing phenomenon, which is when I want to talk about last night, but it actually happened at 2 a.m. And for me, it's last night just because I hadn't slept yet.
Mm-hmm.
But technically,
for that guy over
morning.
there who went to sleep at like 8 p.m.
Right. It's the morning.
That's early morning.
It's early morning.
For you, it was late at night.
Right.
Yeah.
So
what the hell do we do with this?
What do we do with this? What do we do with this?
Society and language is broken because we have yet to devise a way to handle this issue.
No. Yeah. And so to me, really morning is like starts at 4 a.m.
I guess from a time standpoint, like time metrics, morning begins at midnight.
Mm-hmm.
But for the world at large, it begins at like 4 or 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And morning is, it's a noun, but it can also be an adjectival noun. This is the morning meal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also known as breakfast.
Right. Well, in some places.
And second breakfast.
Because during Ramadan, the morning meal, the evening meal is called breakfast.
Oh.
Because breakfast breaking your fast,
Oh, right.
And during Ramadan, yeah.
Right.
I know, because they were like, breakfast. And I'm like, what the fuck? It's fucking 9 p.m. They're like, yeah.
Yeah,
we're breaking our fast, you fucking loser.
You idiot. Shut up and get out.
Just shut the fuck up, actually. You know what?
We're tired. Like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, actually, just go.
Just go. We've had enough of your shenanigans.
Yeah. So anyway, that's morning for you.
Yeah, that's morning.
Yeah.
Morning is my least favorite time of day.
Really?
It is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Why?
I'm generally pretty worthless in the mornings. Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. I've always had a really hard time being anywhere prior to 9 a.m.
Yeah.
So school was a real problem for me.
Right.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it is the time change, like having to wake up at a different time, different times of the year, I guess.
Yeah.
Like that, the spring forward part of the time change was devastating to my school career.
Shit. Okay.
Like having 8 a.m. classes in the spring semester, like I learned very early, like after one semester of having 8 a.m. classes in the spring, that I had to drop my 8 a.m.
It would be
class.
The death of you.
Like I had to drop it because I could not be present at 8 a.m., especially after the time change, where it started to feel like 7 a.m.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it. Could not consistently be anywhere at that time.
Dang, but what time do you have to be at work?
I don't have to be at work until 10.
What?
And I get there about 9.
Fuck you.
Between 9 and 9:30.
Ew.
Yeah.
Wow. Why? That's not fair.
Our business hours are 10 to 6.
Oh, cool. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's I would really like that schedule.
Yeah. I'm very spoiled to that.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
But yeah, I am no good in the mornings.
Okay.
Especially early mornings. By about 9, 10 o'clock, I'm okay. I can be there. But
all right.
Essentially 2 hours of the morning, I can actually do something. The rest of it, it's there to sleep.
Yeah.
Sleep and drink coffee.
I know lots of people who are mean in the mornings.
I'm dead silent if I'm there at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Scary.
And those chipper morning people can't do it.
I'm that person.
How dare you?
Yeah.
How dare
Getting
you?
out of bed is an absolute nightmare. I hate, because I am not, in that respect, I'm not a morning person. But once I'm up, I'm like, tra la la, until like 1 p.m. And then I'm like, I hate my life.
And I hate you.
And I hate all of you.
Every one of you.
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
Right. Get out.
Yeah. And our final
Oh, there's more words.
word
Okay.
is labor.
Labor. Ooh, this is a good one.
A lot of options for labor.
So many options. So labor is work. It can be a verb, it can be a noun, it can be an adjective. Labor camp.
Labor station.
Labor station. Yeah, I mean,
right there.
it's right there.
Just
by the conception station.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So labor is work. Interestingly, it means having a baby too.
Yeah, it's the stages, or the medical term for like the contractions and like you're going into labor.
Yeah, I think it's the whole thing between when the contractions start until the baby is born. I think that whole thing is labor.
Labor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wild.
Yeah.
And it's spelled the same, right?
Yeah.
Labor.
Mm-hmm.
What's Labour? Is that just
that is the British spelling for labor.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Labor, we have the laboratory.
Oh yeah.
Lab.
Right. Yeah.
That all comes from the same word.
So it does.
Oh. Interesting, right?
It is.
Yep.
Yeah.
And yeah, labor is, and usually I think we use it as a difficult work.
Yeah.
Or unless you're calling somebody a laborer,
then
it's just like somebody who does like a tactile job or
build time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I bill labor all the time for work.
Yeah. But a lot of times if you're doing labor, then it's usually it usually signifies like hard labor.
Manual labor. Yeah. Yeah, like a trade labor.
Right.
Yeah, generally. Yeah.
And then of course when you're having a baby, apparently that is also very hard. From what I've heard.
Manual labor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From what I've heard, it's hard. So that's hard work. Yeah. I think.
Based on every movie depiction of childbirth.
Right.
Yeah, it looks like work.
Oh, have you ever seen it in person?
No.
It's disgusting.
I won't do it.
Sick.
I won't do it.
Yeah, don't. I don't recommend it. Okay. No, actually, on the other hand, I do, because in reality, this sounds very cheesy, but seeing the miracle of birth is actually pretty astounding if you've never seen it before.
I haven't.
Yeah. It's sick and astounding.
So there are many things that I want to see and do while I'm alive.
Yeah.
That is decidedly not one of them.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. I could go my whole life without it and be just fine.
Yeah. Hey, know thyself.
And that's one of the things. Like, I understand it's a magical moment for those who want or need it. It's not mine.
Yeah, fair.
It's decidedly not mine.
Fair.
Yeah.
I almost passed out when I watched the live birth that I watched.
Yeah, see? I don't need that.
Yeah.
I don't need that.
It was crazy.
It sounds crazy. if you almost passed out, then I can.
Because I was in charge of like filming or taking pictures of the whole thing from like the part where the baby was coming out,
Oh gosh.
From the open legs. And I honestly think I was okay until he did the episiotomy, the doctor, which is where they cut because the hole's not big enough for the baby to come out.
Yeah.
And just the sound of the flesh tearing, in addition to the flow of like bright red blood that just like spewed out.
Like Kill Bill style, just like the
yes.
fountain.
Yes. That is where I suddenly got cold and was just like,
I'm gonna die. This is how I die.
Yeah. Oh man, that was crazy.
So when they said a life for a life, they weren't kidding. For this baby to be born, somebody had to be here to die.
The sacrifice.
And I'm the sacrifice.
I was the
I'm gonna die.
Somebody's gonna die. Yeah.
Yeah. Fascinating.
Crazy.
So those words again are lesson, helicopter, umbrella, morning, and labor.
Yes.
And if you want to be like these wonderful writers and submit your story to You Write, head on over to our subreddit at reddit.com/r/YouWritePod.
If you are unable to submit a story this week, that's fine. You can help out by reading and commenting on other people's stories.
Each time you post a story or leave a comment on someone else's submission, you increase your chances of having your story read on the podcast.
You can also reach us at youwritepod@gmail.com.
If you like our show and want to help support us, consider donating to our Patreon at patreon.com/youderp.
If you are unable to derp, that's fine. You can help us by sharing the podcast with other writers and non-writers of derp.
If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you know as soon as new derps are available.
Yes. Also, be sure to derp us a rating and review in your podcatcher of choice.
And remember, join us next week on You Write,
a podcast where you derp. Under my umbrella, Ella, Ella, eh, 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 eh,
See y'all next week.
Do beatbox.
I don't. Cats, boots, cats, boots, cats, boots, cats, boots, cats, boots, cats, boots, cats and boots, cats, boots and cats and boots and cats and boots and cats, boots, cats, 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 cats,
cats, cats, lip shits,
lip shit.
lip shits.